Hi everybody, welcome to Operation Charlie Fox Contributor Cast number 6. This one's going to be extra super duper special because, as most of you know, the limited free trial of United Kingdom Forces, also known as the Brits, has been released. So, we're going to be taking a quick sneak peek at that. This will be my first time watching Brits, so it should be interesting. And I have a great matchup loaded up as well. We are going to be watching VonIvan versus dbmb. VonIvan is non-meta player extraordinaire. I'm sure most of you are familiar with him. He's also a streamer, and dbmb is the winner of the 3rd Starcross Cup. So both of these players are fantastic, and I expect to see great things from both of them. And without further ado, let's jump into the game. Damn it. I'll fade the music out properly. Someday. Someday. Okay, so we're gonna have a lot of things to learn this game. For those of you that know nothing about Brits at all, starting from square 0, which is also the square from which I am starting. Who knows how many different mechanics and stuff Brits are going to be introducing. So let's just very quickly go over all the new things that I noticed immediately. They start with a unit called an infantry section. 4 men have access to a grenade at some point. And 2 munitions upgrades, pyrotechnic supplies, which distributes flares and field optics to signal artillery. Interesting. Also increases squad vision. And medical supplies, so that sounds pretty straightforward. And those are going to require some tech stuff. You can also see there's some interesting things happening here in the base. From the headquarters, they can make infantry section, also a Vickers heavy machine gun team, a universal carrier, which a lot of people will remember from Company of Heroes 1, of course, the platoon command post, and then also the company command post, and those are going to be tech upgrades, and we can probably look into those further as the game progresses. We can also see weapon racks and sort of a US Forces style upgrade here at the HQ. So 4 men in their combat squad, and they also start with a combat squad. It's very similar to Company of Heroes 1 in that regard, but we can also just really quickly look at their commandos. So that'll be something reminiscent of COH1, but clearly the abilities are different looking. Royal Artillery and Royal Engineer. So already lots of Company of Heroes 1 throwbacks that I'm seeing here, and we can probably go more in depth into the individual abilities once the commander gets selected. And that's going to be dbmb playing as United Kingdom Forces, whereas VonIvan will be playing as Oberkommando West this game, Luftwaffe Ground Forces. So without further ado, we'll actually get into the game. We're going to see a 2 infantry section opening from dbmb. And VonIvan will be going with Volksgrenadier, 1 squad of Volksgrenadiers. 2 infantry sections out at the same time as a squad of Volksgrenadiers. With a 4-man infantry squad, I expect that the individual models are probably quite strong. So this should be interesting. What is the truck that you can put machine guns on for an instant infantry killer? I assume you're talking about the universal carrier. But if not, we'll see. After 1 squad of infantry, dbmb is going to grab himself a Vickers. So Brits actually almost a little bit similar to Oster in that they have a machine gun out of the HQ, except for that instead of Pyos, they have an infantry section. So they have a really strong headquarters. Can make combat infantry and can also make a machine gun. Now that's the only faction that can do that, I think. It's a 4-man machine gun team. So that should be interesting. Hey, Scoot! How's it going? Cool guys, don't look at explosions. Stern Pioneers making their way over here towards the victory point, and Volksgrenadiers not going for the strategic point yet with the infantry section set up in... Whoa, is that a new... What's up with this green cover icon? Is that something special? Cover combat bonus. Increased rate of fire while in cover. Oh, okay. So apparently British infantry sections are actually more deadly when in green cover, in addition to being better protected. So this faction also heavily encourages the use of green cover. Maybe not so much buildings. I don't know if the ability applies in buildings or not. We'll have to see. And I'm hoping that dbmb will make the universal carrier, because I'm curious to see how it performs. But for right now, he's going to purchase something called Bolster Infantry Squads. It's an upgrade right here. It's going to increase the squad size of all infantry sections and Royal Engineers, which is not something that he's unlocked yet. But that will make all of his infantry sections able to go up to 5 men. That ability costs 100 manpower and 25 fuel. Interesting. So they seem not bad. They also get the combat bonus in yellow cover, apparently. Volksgrenadiers make it to the building here. Nice flank by the Sturm Pioneers on the Vickers. Very nicely executed right there by VonIvan. And before that Vickers ever fires a shot, it might get stolen. Infantry section takes up a position in the building, and they do appear to get the cover bonus right there. Sturm Pioneers are annihilating the infantry section there. Apparently their weapon has a slightly different sound. You can like hear the clinking of the shells now. Sounds kind of cool. I actually like this sound change for once, I think. Blink, blink. VonIvan will move up with this Volksgrenadier section to steal the Vickers machine gun right there. So very rough start for dbmb. That could not have gone a whole lot worse. I like the new music too, but oh, sorry. Do you hear the new music? New theme music for the UKF. That's fun. Grenade toss, nice reaction by dbmb there in the vineyard, I guess. And this will be a good opportunity to see how the infantry section performs. By the way, its cost is 280 manpower, so reasonably expensive. More expensive than grenadiers. Same cost as riflemen, so they should be quite powerful. It's a 4-man squad with the same price as riflemen. That eventually becomes a 5-man squad, though. So far at this range, it looks like they're not amazing against Volksgrenadiers. They're kind of losing this, in fact, which is surprising. But they're a long-range squad. Interesting. That's the only allied faction that has a long-range core infantry squad, so that would explain somewhat this. And I think that they are going to win this engagement, so seems to make sense. Allied players are probably more accustomed to fighting at short range, so that's gonna be something to get used to for Allied players. Have to treat them more like grenadiers than riflemen. New model animations? Maybe? I don't know. I'm not the right person to ask about that kind of stuff. Why is this squad standing like this? What is going on there? I don't think dbmb did that intentionally. I don't know what would cause that to happen. They must be stuck or something? I don't know. That's very strange, but alright. Flank going up on the Vickers here by an infantry section moving up on the right side and left sides simultaneously. I don't know what to say, Cav Doctor. I guess you're drunk. Congratulations. Or, I'm sorry, one of those two things. No universal carrier for dbmb, sadly. He did get the 5-man squad upgrade, and he's just running around with 4 squads of infantry. He lost his Vickers, he's clearly very behind, and now VonIvan is fielding MG34s. He's got 3 MG34s out. This map, by the way, I've also never seen. This map is called Arnhem Checkpoint. Will, I assume, be seeing this added to the map pool once the free trial's over. Kind of an interesting layout. Such an overload of new information. A new map, a new faction, new music. It's got equally spaced victory points. So fortunately they did utilize map making 101 for this map, unlike some other maps. And fuel point there. And here, with cutoffs, looks pretty symmetrical. Looks like an interesting map, actually, so... I almost get a La Glaze breakout feel from it, but it's more open. It's less urban, more long-range engagements, so that's hopefully not as allied favored as La Glaze breakout tends to be. There's a battle group headquarters for VonIvan, and dbmb has teched platoon command post. That costs... how much? I don't know, I missed it. Sadly. But it comes with a 3-inch mortar emplacement right there. You get that automatically for purchasing the structure. And then he's also upgraded it with this small fuel upgrade that unlocks the armored car. No commander selection from him yet, but he will field the armored car, making its way up the left side to support his infantry. It looks like it's got a very light anti-light vehicle gun, would be my guess. Sending that towards the left side to try and take territory that way. Fallschirmjäger have been fielded here by VonIvan to try and pick up an infantry section, and he is successful in doing so. Which means dbmb is off to a rough start here in the beginning, losing his Vickers, and now an infantry section is putting him in a very nasty situation. Reinforced cost on these infantry is 35, which is quite expensive. And this infantry section has a special symbol. What's that? I don't know. I think that might mean that they have the healing upgrade. Yeah, I assume that's what that is. So they can heal the other infantry sections here while out of combat. And does that cost anything to activate? No, that's free. The upgrade itself costs 30 munitions, and then the ability he can do every so many seconds. So Armored Car doing what it can over here on the left side, starting to get pressured away by a Panzerschreck. Looks like it's not very good against infantry. So far, the coaxial and main gun don't seem to do anything, so more of an anti-light vehicle thing, not really anti-infantry as far as I can tell. Coaxial also only extremely light damage there. So thus far, this has not given dbmb much in the way of help here. It's going to field himself a squad of Royal Engineers. That costs 210 manpower, so they're not that bad, and that's probably the equivalent of sappers in Company of Heroes 1, would be my guess. They can be equipped with a minesweeper, and they can also build an anti-tank mine, which can be detonated by both infantry and vehicles, so just a generalist mine. I wonder if that's a guaranteed immobilization or not. Barbed wire. A forward assembly, which is a forward reinforced point. Interesting. And they can also build a mortar emplacement and a 17-pounder AT gun, so they're the source of your emplacements, much like sappers used to be. I don't know if infantry sections can build anything. No, just caches, sandbags. They can build their own sandbags, which is quite useful, I assume, for long-range infantry. And trenches. But those cost 15 manpower, they're not free. Interesting. It's kind of a shame that dbmb is not taking advantage of more of these abilities, because I'd like to see them in action, see how they perform, but clearly this game is not going well for him so far. And next we have a 55 caliber armor-piercing sniper. This is a unit that I've heard lots about. Haven't actually seen it yet, so I'm curious to see how this is going to perform. An armor-piercing sniper, that is definitely the first unit of its kind in all of the Company of Heroes 2 franchise. I wonder if it's as powerful as I've heard. I wonder if it's powerful enough to save dbmb from the situation he's in. Probably unlikely. Commando Regiment has been unlocked. Let's take a moment to look at some of these abilities. So, at 4 CPs, which is what dbmb is at, he unlocks 3 of the 5 abilities. Smoke Raid, Assault, and Commando Glider Insertion. So, Commando Glider Insertion, I assume, is the same as CH1, deploys a glider full of commandos, which is probably an awesome elite infantry squad. Sniper's already in danger. Gets to camo just in time. Armored car does just about nothing to help right here. Looks like the rate of fire on this sniper is quite slow, which makes sense for an armor-piercing sniper, I guess. But 2 kills on that already, despite being at half health. He's going to try and move that up to reconnect with the healing squad right there. But anyway, 75 munitions for the smoke raid operation, which just does a smoke barrage on all frontline sectors. 100 munitions for assault. Infantry sections move more quickly and have better attacks, so that's similar to Valiant Assault and other similar abilities. Oh, also recon planes though, so that's interesting. Look at that grenade. And then, of course, the Commando Glider insertion is 500 manpower, so those are some expensive abilities. I'm curious to see how dbmb will use them. He's got 300 munitions in the bank, so he's got some room to play with those a little bit. Looks like VonIvan's attack will get shut down here. Infantry set up in buildings, plus the sniper firing from range. VonIvan bleeds a little bit and is forced back to the HQ. He is going hard into infantry, by the way. 3 squads of Volksgrenadiers, 2 squads of Fallschirmjäger, and lots of machine guns. Jagdpanzer in production. dbmb has gained a little bit of a foothold after shutting down that attack. He has much more territory under his control over there on the right side.
What do you need us to do?
And it seems that the range on this thing is not that long because it hasn't fired yet at all. So I wonder if it's more of a defensive thing. Ooh, there's the glider insertion deployed over here on the left side, right into a machine gun though. That is unfortunate. Frag grenade tossed there by the commandos. Other abilities they have are a demo charge. Looks like a standard one since it's 90 munitions. A smoke grenade, which they have to be vet 1 for that, and also a passive ambush ability, which increases their firepower in camouflage. Stolen Vickers has... Wow, the Vickers has very long range. Is that a veterancy bonus? Yes. At Vet 1, inside of a building, the Vickers range is insane. It's not doing, like, huge damage, but that is something. Look at that. Look how far that extends. That is crazy long range. Commandos move up on the flank of the Vickers. Wow, they cleared that out quick. They did not throw a grenade to do that either. So Vickers is wiped. And that will give dbmb a bit of an opportunity to take some territory here in the center of the map. Mine just got triggered, I think. Shoe Mine takes out 3 commandos.
Achtung, ready yourself. Fallschirmjäger at full strength.
Another mine triggered in the middle by the armored car. VonIvan reinforces all of his units and sends them back out onto the battlefield. Looks like you can probably reinforce out of these gliders, I would assume, because they can be destroyed, which VonIvan is probably going to do over here. What's that icon? Oh, prioritized vehicles is no longer a like a no entry sign, or whatever that sign is. It actually kind of makes sense. That UI improvement, I like it. Fallschirmjäger definitely win against infantry sections as far as I can tell so far. No weapon upgrades for these infantry sections by dbmb, by the way. Oh, I take that back. He just researched weapon racks. 150 manpower, 15 fuel to do that. Gives him access to the Piat and the Bren, which are both also upgrades from COH1. So probably already have some expectations how that will perform. An LMG and an anti-light vehicle launcher. New infantry spacing. Oh boy. Well, I don't have any preconceived notions about British infantry spacing. Maybe I should look at. Yeah, you're right. The Our Commando West infantry are standing differently as well, in almost like paratroopers, I think. That's kind of a fun change, I guess. Sniper working on the machine gun here on the left, finishes that off. Up to 9 kills. Nothing crazy, but it's definitely having an impact. How much does that unit cost? 360, so pretty standard cost for a sniper unit. Piets equipped on this squad of infantry, another squad rotating back toward the base to gear up as well.
Supply line's been cut. The enemy is determined.
And dbmb has rotated all of his forces left to take these territories, but he is losing control of his cutoff here to a big push by VonIvan. Armored Cars only got 3 kills, so yeah, it doesn't seem like a very useful unit against Oberkommando West. The only light vehicle they would field is maybe a Kuba wagon, or a Puma, or a flak half-track. It would be good probably against the flak half-track. The Puma would probably win against this, based on my initial observations. I could be wrong about that, though. Probably comes down to micro. This does have access to smoke. That one has a tread breaker. So maybe not, actually. 2 consecutive hits to immobilize could be a very powerful ability against a Puma. I'd like to see that matchup.
Ready to go. New job, sir.
I'd like to see this coordinated fire ability too. He's unlocked it. Maybe that calls in fire from this thing. What is this actually called? It's called a 3-inch mortar emplacement. Okay, got it.
Army commandos ready to go.
Point taken. Ready.
Commandos take control of the cutoff back. Victory point advantage still to VonIvan for sure.
We're under fire, no mistake.
Here comes another glider. Oh, look at that beautiful, graceful landing. Just like COH1. He uses it to flank an MG34 here on the right side. That worked a lot better than last time. Immediately annihilated that MG34 before VonIvan had any chance to react there. In the midst of another engagement here for the center, Armored Car activates its tread breaker there against VonIvan. It looks like the shot maybe penetrated, mobility damage, whatever that means. I can't tell if it's going to get immobilized or not. Apparently not. I'm not sure if there's RNG involved in that or what went wrong there for dbmb, but the Jagdpanzer was not immobilized. Those Piets were actually doing great work against it, though. It fell dangerously low. VonIvan had to pull that out. Sniper has great range, working on these Fallschirmjäger from way in the back up to Vet 2 now. Picking off those Fallschirmjäger one by one. Commandos move up into the green cover on the left side to try and clean up some of the remaining infantry here. And I'm actually not sure what the Royal Engineers have been doing, other than sweeping for mines. Maybe that's the only reason he purchased them. But I am curious about the emplacements. Has not purchased either one of those. Or any of the 3. Forgot about the forward reinforce point. Engagement here is 1 sniper plus commandos. Force the Fallschirmjäger from the building. Commandos taken over here on the right. The victory point and the stolen MG34 will help cover the area as well. So the game might actually be turning a little bit back into dbmb's favor, who has 200 fuel in the bank, by the way. VonIvan has just exhausted his fuel reserves on tier 4 and is going to get himself a Lux next. Interesting. Needs a tool with which to deal with his opponent's infantry, but he may find himself vulnerable to his opponent's Piets. But the good news is, of course, that dbmb's armored car has been destroyed, so he no longer has access to that light anti-tank and light immobilization ability, which doesn't necessarily seem to work all the time. Probably works better against lighter targets like the Lux, though, so either way, VonIvan's definitely glad that that's been destroyed.
Position taken.
Ordered and ready. Under fire.
Huge push by VonIvan's
We're losing a capture point.
forces for the center VP. Infantry section set up in the building, eats a grenade. They dodge just in time. Volksgrenadiers going down quick. This infantry section in red cover is forced away. It looks like Piets don't really do anything against infantry, which is what you'd expect. I don't know if they snipe infantry as well as Panzerschrecks do. Over here on the right side, Panzer II makes its way towards the victory point, should have no problem scaring off these commandos, and it looks like the engagement for the center of the map will be won by VonIvan here, unless these commandos can win an engagement with only one north-facing window. It looks like they might. Fallschirmjäger were forced to retreat. Sniper is picking off those Volksgrenadiers quick. He's got 18 kills now. Stern Pioneers need to get out of there. Ooh, there they go. Did you see that plus 30 manpower? Icon, what was that? Who just got 30 manpower and why?
Stand to, you tossers!
Somebody's gonna have to explain what that ability is. I feel like dbmb just got 30 manpower out of this engagement, but I don't, Is that like a passive British thing where you just get manpower for wiping squads or something? I don't know.
Ready for orders. The squad is back to full strength. Coming. Shut up, you lot. Captured.
New armored car in production, probably to counter the looks, I would assume.
Heavy armored car ready.
Ready for orders. All reinforcements received.
All of dbmb's forces reinforced, making their way
Ready to go on reconnaissance.
back onto the map. Triple cap going against VonIvan right now as he makes his way onto all three fronts, spreading himself out this time rather than just blobbing through the middle. He will be faced with commandos over here on the right side,
Your capture point.
and possibly the threat of the armored car should it rotate. Everything dbmb has is currently in the center. He will
Enemy
need
action
to
has destroyed our forward position.
decide what fronts to send his forces to counterattack here.
Hands in a half track. Fuckers. Wash your ears out.
That sounds like a fun bug. Okay then. Volksgrenadiers get caught in red cover, unmonitored, just got nailed. The tier 4 structure will protect them on the retreat here.
Infantry assault.
Commandos find these Fallschirmjäger not being monitored and they get wiped. Some really careless losses here by VonIvan, not going great. I think these Volksgrenadiers are about to walk into a brutal ambush here on the right side. Maybe, or the commandos will just stand there. Okay, that's awkward. Still got hold fire activated, so I think he should probably get those commandos firing. Over here on the left side, Stern Pioneers are going to probably die soon. Jeez, what is happening? MG34 pins down a stolen, or no, another MG34 over here on the right side. Looks is engaging against some infantry in cover. The commandos have started firing. Oh! But a good old-fashioned Panzerschreck snipe wipes the squad. Meanwhile, Stern Pioneers get wiped in 30 manpower for free. To somebody. I don't even know who gets it, honestly. Somebody gets 30 manpower. Okay. So the person who loses the Stern Pioneers gets 30 manpower for free. It doesn't make that big of a difference, but that's interesting. Oh, if it's every time a model dies, then that makes a huge difference. That means they basically reinforce for free, right? That's ridiculous. Stern Pioneer spam is probably overpowered as hell in this patch then. Or not this patch, but the free trial.
Volksgrenadiers back to full strength.
Well, despite some unfortunate losses there by VonIvan in the last series of engagements, it looks like dbmb also took his fair share of losses. His armored car forced back for repairs, his infantry army now looking quite small, his opponent's infantry army also looking extremely small, heavy losses on both sides, decrewed team weapons all over the place. And I'm wondering if we're going to see air supremacy operation here. 325 munitions for this. After a long period of time, heavy bombers will attack the target. Whatever that means, I'd be interested to see what that does. I wonder if that's a one-shot on certain HQ buildings or anything. It's probably a devastating ability if it's 325 munitions to activate. Instead of using that, he just uses smoke raid operation to deploy smoke on all frontline sectors and maybe cover and advance back into the middle. Commandos, Vet 3 commandos leading the charge.
Target captured. No enemy contact. On fire!
Commandos advancing through the smoke will get through the red cover relatively safely and close into short range against these Volksgrenadiers. Panzer II appears to do respectable damage to the armored car. Armored car looks like it wins this matchup though. A lot of the autocannon shots there will bounce. Panzerschreck shot helps to turn the engagement back in dbmB's favor. Fallschirmjäger deployed out of a building on the left side will try and start taking control of some territory here on the left, and on the right side, Volksgrenadiers moving up, take control of a fuel point and the cutoff will be lost. These Vet 3 Bren-equipped infantry. With the LMG, they do seem to get significantly more deadly. But the clock for now is stopped. And dbmB is now the one to field a higher tech unit. He's finally unlocked the company command post and is getting... Wow, there are a lot of units available from this tier 4, I guess. Is there a tier? This faction only has 3 tiers, which is awkward, but he will be getting the Sherman Firefly, making a glorious return from Company of Heroes 1, and also purchasing a specialization. This is unique to the British faction, the Hammer, which locks out the Anvil specialization, which doesn't really tell you much of anything, but it will specialize the British Army around mobility and firepower. So I'm guessing that determines what you can then purchase out of this structure beyond Sherman Fireflies. Luke's working on the Bren squad over here on the right side, which does not have access to button or anything like that, by the way. Jagdpanzer spots the armored car. That's got to pull back to safety. Pop smoke to assist in that endeavor. Over here on the left side, commandos working on the victory point. And the map is slowly trending more and more red. A lot of dbmB's forces push back into the base here. VonIvan similarly has to head back to base for some reinforcement. He's going to drop 100 fuel on a Stuka. So he's got an interesting composition going. He's not going to go for a King Tiger or anything. He's got an anti-tank, anti-infantry, and now artillery support vehicles. So he's got a very diverse set of... Whoa! What? Wow! I wasn't expecting that. A tulip rocket strike for 100 munitions at close range appears to be rather effective. That was amazing. Okay. Watch out for Sherman Fireflies. They are no joke. This 60-pound RP-3 rockets provide a spectacularly high explosive adjunct to the Sherman Fireflies, considerable anti-armor capabilities, and will smash through any battlefield obstacle to explode at maximum range. Collide on any vehicle unit or any player-owned building, excluding ambient buildings. Wow. I wonder how accurate that is at range. That's got a long cooldown, by the way. That is some crazy burst damage. I can't even believe that. I can't even believe that. All right. That's a thing that exists. Tulip rocket strike. Watch out for it. Commandos tear up some Volksgrenadiers easily. A bit of a late retreat there by VonIvan. You don't get a lot of time to react to that. Them dropping a Panzerschreck to those commandos probably doesn't help. Airborne assault on the right side victory point. Try to get the victory points ticking against dbmB once again, and lots of VonIvan's forces head back towards the center. Oh, hey, an emplacement, finally. Wow, the mortar pit is huge. Okay, mortar pit going up here in the middle. Oh, it's got 2 mortars in it. Interesting. So emplacements can brace, which makes them reduce incoming damage, but they will not fire. That's interesting. There was a barrage, and they also have a creeping smoke barrage of vet 1. Interesting. So with 2 mortars firing, let's see how this performs against buildings. Looks quite good. This is probably at relatively short range. I don't know what the maximum range on this weapon is, but that will definitely force, wow, VonIvan from that structure easily enough. But that was also quite expensive. I mean, it took him this long, 31 minutes, to be able to afford that beyond his own manpower bleed, and that is a 400 manpower emplacement, so let's say he's getting... That's more expensive now than the Soviet heavy mortar, but he's definitely already gotten value out of that. And it does have a kill counter and vet and everything, so we'll be able to see how well it performs over the course of the game. I still don't think this has fired at all. If it has, I missed it. I'd like to see that. And the other command post also has one, so I think that forward artillery ability the infantry sections have. That was a Stuka rocket? That didn't do anything. That was terrible. Oh, brace also is forced to last for 30 seconds. Interesting, so you can't just switch it on and off. You're kind of committing to not firing for quite a while if you activate that ability. Somebody threw smoke right there. This didn't go on cooldown though, so I'm kind of confused as to what caused that poof of smoke. Oh no! It's the smoke grade operation. Got it. Okay. Folks Grenadiers get away by a hair, probably in part due to that smoke barrage. Firefly has not participated much since it destroyed the Jagdpanzer, which is surprising because I think it should be able to dive that Stuka. Without a Jagdpanzer around to protect against this thing, it should serve to be quite effective against VonIvan's vehicles. There's not a whole lot on the field that can counter him, but I guess he's afraid of the threat of snares from the Panzerfaust and just Panzerschreck support, is my guess. Ooh. Mortar Pit does have some range. Look at that lucky shot on those Fallschirmjäger from way over there, and that squad's gonna have to retreat. Ooh, gets picked up by the armored car. Panzer II working on the left side, try and work on this infantry section here. Firefly could maybe move to support against it. No further units purchased here from dbmb yet, although he's got 189 fuel. He could get a Cromwell, which is probably just a standard battle tank, similar to COH-1 Cromwell, or a Centaur anti-air cruiser tank. Effective against infantry and aircraft. That is a 100 fuel anti-air vehicle. That must be something. And a Comet, which is really expensive. 500 manpower, 185 fuel. Effective against infantry and vehicles. Looks like it is one of the British heavy tanks. So we're going to see that this game. Should be interesting. The Stuka is bugged. It only fires 1 rocket. Alright, so the free trial appears to have a few quirks. Do field Sturm Pioneers a lot, don't field a Stuka so much. Would be my suggestions so far this game. Firefly seems quite fragile. Ooh, even armor-piercing machine gun rounds actually penetrate a little on the rear armor there. Panzerschreck plus Piet finishes it off. So yeah, that doesn't have a whole lot of armor to work with. It's a bit of a glass cannon, I think. You need to be careful with that. And dbmb's infantry are practically all gone. To be fair, VonIvan's infantry forces aren't exactly looking amazing either. Mortar's already up to Vet 2. Seems to be getting quite a bit of value out of this unit. It's already got 6 kills. Hasn't been on the field for more than 5 minutes, I don't think. Here's the Comet. Wow, it's quite quick for a heavy tank. Seems pretty agile. Maybe it's not a heavy tank. Maybe it's more of a big medium like a Panther. So far, it doesn't seem amazing. I think it's accuracy versus... I can't tell if that was RNG or if it's not really an amazing anti-infantry tank, but its armor doesn't seem great. The Piet plus Panzerschreck combo there brought it down to half. So not great value out of that investment yet. It does have access to a self-defense grenade. Interesting. And a smoke shell, so it's got some utility abilities. But it seems like it's a little fragile, and I wasn't super impressed by its firepower there either. But that could have just been bad luck. We'll have to see more engagements with that. Pretty quiet for now. dbmb spreading out and taking the right side with a recovered MG34 and some infantry. VonIvan simultaneously working the left. Armored car and Comet up. Looks and Stuka up. Stuka, despite only being able to fire one rocket at a time, has 5 kills, so that's good. And he's actually going to grab some Obersoldaten next. Maybe that'll give him a harder anti-infantry counter to commandos. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if commandos will be significantly threatened by Obersoldaten. They'll probably still have to take on this Vet 3 squad with superior numbers. They automatically drop a smoke grenade when they retreat and will heal out of combat at Vet 3. They sound like they are pretty ridiculous. Salvaging the Jagdpanzer right now. Here comes an ambush on these Fallschirmjäger. Oh my god, that damage. Nice grenade by VonIvan right there. The Comet moves up to try and retaliate. Gets a decent shot off on the Volksgrenadiers this time. Commandos will be able to get away, I think. And, yeah, Comet seems like it's kind of okay versus infantry. Definitely better than a Panther, so... kind of picking them off one by one. It doesn't look like it has a whole lot of AoE, but decent accuracy. Almost like a Sherman with armor-piercing rounds equipped, I guess. Moves up to scare off a Obersoldaten squad over on the right. So it seems like a pretty decent all-purpose tank. It's almost like a tougher Sherman. Like a big, beefy, medium tank that's very generalized. But you can't really spam it because of its super high cost, I think. 12 pop cap for that. Kind of a low pop cap, actually. Lower than a Panther, surprisingly, despite its cost. That makes it very pop cap efficient. Surprisingly so. Armored car has to pull back a little bit as the Comet begins work on the HQ structure. Looks like it does pretty respectable damage to structures. It'll bring this down quick. Not as quick as a KV-8, but definitely a serious threat that VonIvan has to deal with. Meanwhile, whoa, what happened out back here? Oh, Fallschirmjäger fielded out of the church. Pick up the armored car with a Panzerfaust. They immediately jump back inside the building and the mortar finishes them off. Up to Vet 3 on this. Which makes it more difficult to destroy. And 8 kills, including wiping a Fallschirmjäger squad, so dbmb has got an excellent value out of that structure for sure, and VonIvan's forces are getting thinner and thinner. dbmb has a bit of manpower float right now. Brits, I've noticed, by the way, just looking at the various units, that almost everything they have is very expensive. So you're working with a very small army, I think. But quite effective. dbmb's sniper died at some point, so we never got to see any of its anti-tank utility. Comet picks up that full squad, though, and VonIvan is reduced to almost no infantry remaining at all. dbmb up to 500 manpower now. Will be able to purchase another Tier 4 unit soon if he wants. I'd be curious to see anything. The Firefly has an incredibly powerful rocket strike. That ability is nuts. Brits appear to have a lot of highly expensive, powerful stuff. They seem to be just really heavy hitters. That rocket strike, commandos in general, the mortar thing. We didn't really get to see these fire. I'm still curious about those. Oh wait, they did fire once. You can tell they're like angled. I missed it. I'd like to actually see that happen. 17 pounder going up over here on the right. That thing is huge, man. The emplacement seems so big. Not sure what that's even intended to protect against.
Ready for action.
Here comes one Stuka rocket on the church. Okay. Commando's working the left side. Didn't even recover the Panzerschreck. I guess he didn't even feel he needed it. VonIvan is starting to float a little bit. Ooh, we might get to see a 17 pounder shot against the Panzer II. Wow! Wow, that is devastating damage. That is... Is it firing while rotating? Oh my goodness. That is something. Okay. Jeez, that's got a piercing shot for 90 munitions. It will smash through most obstacles to explode at the target location. It has a flare, so it can self-sight. That's fair and balanced. It's got brace and prioritized vehicles. So that is something. This whole game is them testing stuff out is a good thing. I want to see them test stuff out. I want to see all the various features and units. Another 17-pounder going up. Destroy cover? That's a fun ability. I'd like to see that used too. And a small time demo charge at the target location which can destroy cover, and that's free. Interesting. This unit comes late though. This is not the Brits starting unit, so you couldn't just do that immediately. King Tiger on the field. If they're just testing things out, I assume VonIvan might be driving this straight to the 17-pounder to see what kind of penetration and damage this thing can do. Guess we'll find out. I hope that they can get some of these fixes out quickly. I know Relic's track record for fixing things is not incredibly fast. Stuka damage on this looks like a full barrage would actually clear it, I assume. Or at least come close to doing so. I guess that the... I guess you have to put a squad inside? Is how this works? That's kind of interesting. You garrison it and that crews it. As opposed to capturing it the way you do normal team weapons. It looks like the same thing is true. Or maybe it works like a machine gun emplacement where if you put a squad inside that doesn't actually do anything, they just happen to be garrisoned inside. That's probably actually how that works. I think. Yeah, because there's more than 3 guys in there. So yeah, never mind. You can garrison that as if it were like a bunker. Like an Oster bunker. Am I always going to watch British versus German? I'm probably going to be focusing on that. I mean, I want to see Brits. They're a new thing. I feel like I'd kind of be missing the boat if I just did old matchups. Besides, everybody's going to be playing Brits now anyway. So, yes. Probably. Then my next 4 contributor cast will probably be Brits versus upgrades? Okay. 60-pound tulip. Oh, this is an upgrade. Oh, you have to pay 50 munitions to unlock this, and then it's another 100 to fire. So it's 150 in total just to be able to use it once. So that continues with the theme of things being very expensive. The other upgrade is a tank commander, which gives vision and camo detection and accuracy of the main gun and faster veterancy. Jeez. Okay, so there's a lot of reasons to get this, considering it's only 25 munitions. And there he is with his binoculars. Well, I'm going to end the cast here since I don't even know what they are doing now. They seem like they're like AFK or something. That's going to conclude this contributor cast. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a lot of fun, new things about the Brits. I know I did. I'm looking forward to watching them more in the future. I'd like to see some things that I haven't seen yet, like the grenade unlock, the universal carrier, almost all tier 3.5 units. This AT gun. Lots of things we didn't see. I did enjoy the sniper being fielded, but we didn't get to see his abilities and so on and so forth, and I missed a few things also. So hopefully we'll be seeing more Brits in the very near future. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.